In this video, I'm going to show you how I structure my diary, how I create boundaries, how I integrate my physical capacity in before anything else, and vice versa, how my customers spin those plates, look, live, lead, and perform in times that matter, not by mistake. Now, the first thing that most people need to get addressed when it comes down to your level of performance as a business owner or a founder is shifting your understanding around what training is. Most people who in that regard use training as the word exercise. Exercise has got no destination. The reason why a founder or a business owner needs to train like an athlete is because they actually need target progress and they need to see incremental increases across the board. So if you haven't done that, in the videos below, I'll put a link to my channel. We've got multiple different videos around how to train like an athlete at your level, but today we're going to talk around how to actually build boundaries into your diary. Right now on the screen, this is my diary for this week, and I'm going to show you this for the rest of it, and I do this for the same for my clients. You'll see that in there are key pieces that don't shift to start with. Okay, so I've got my gym, I've got my marketing, I've got breakfast, walk the dog, I've got admin, I've got Sam, shout out to my brother on there. I've also got calls, I've then got white space that has a capacity for me to add calls into, and also I've then got another shoot. But if I go to July, you'll see that my week, the main thing that's inside of my week in here is my physical process. Most executives do the other way around. They build in their capacity from a work standpoint, and I've got no idea where their landing pads are for their physical health and well-being, their actual emotional and psychological capacity, their recovery, and also life. That goes last, and that's why they suddenly feel overwhelmed and frustrated and like they're all over the fucking shop. You'll see that I've got my gym sessions in here. Now, just to be clear, these are ideals. These are not stamps that have to be in there. I can shift that and I can move it to 11 o'clock if I want to, but the difference is there's an hour of training in there. As I shoot this video, I've got a full day of shooting and a full day of check-ins to do, and I want to train. I couldn't train this morning because I had to make sure that we were ready for this shoot. I've just shifted it to later on, and I'll show you that in a minute. But the key piece that what you're not seeing here is why this should be up here. I've just realised that. We'll do this live on a call. This is where it's not fabricated. This is for real, but that has not been done, so that'll be done at 7 p.m. tonight. Most questions that I get asked about how do I fit this into my diary, because what they do is that it's a perception thing. A lot of executives in this space here will have back-to-back meetings and their day will look like this all day, but it will just be meeting, nothing to do with them. Well, actually, when you're looking at this from a meeting standpoint, you should be having gaps in between that allow you to decompress, reload, and go again. Your energy is like, I've said this before, it's like a wet sponge, and every time you touch something, it leaves residue. If you're changing subject matters in those days, that's why you're struggling. It's because you're going from talking around things that are happening on the board to an incident with a current subordinate underneath you to a Karen's having an argument with the biscuit tin next door. Whatever it is, you're getting frustrated and annoyed because your energy is going everywhere. But reverting back to this, and as mentioned before, training like an athlete and actually running a business, how I would be structuring this to start with for anybody are three key drivers. If you're a business leader, this is key. One, intensity of your days. Monday for me is a focus day. The name of the game for Monday is data across the board. My business, me, and my clients. On Monday check-ins are people who have got high levels and need deep data analysis. I've then got business metrics. I track all my business stuff on a Monday. And then personally, I reevaluate my performance about what I'm doing in that week. And then obviously getting a session in. Two, I then actually change my days work on differently. I work for myself. So this is how I do it. You obviously, if you're working for a massive company, it'll be different, but same themes. A focus day based on value. So usually I'll be building stuff or publishing podcasts and that kind of thing on these days. Wednesday, and then I have buffer days too to deal with work. What you should do is traffic light your week and show me exactly what's inside of your diary that is of paramount importance. Because if you haven't got your physical capacity stuff put in there already, you're already compromised. And that's why you can't sustain the level of output you're asking for, or you've got poor quality decision making, your energy is off, is because you haven't got that inside of your diary. You'll see that I walk the dog at the same time every single day. I eat my breakfast every single day at the same time. I have lunch at the same time every single day. I'll train if I don't have anything that gets in the way first thing in the morning, or me personally, I put this at 11 o'clock if I don't have a call, just because I like to train when I'm more fueled. Point being, that's inside of my process, and that does not move for that question. Most people in that come into my world. They use this like a piece of Russian roulette. You do this with their diary, and it's literally a gamble. And some people are like, oh yeah, but I've got so much on, I've got this, that, and the other, da, da, da. If you are a business owner, a CEO, and your performance is like a roulette machine rather than a vending machine, it's because you have not stopped micromanaging, you have not given and offloaded and delegated work and not created space for yourself to not only for you to operate, to think, to focus, and step away from the dance floor. What you've actually done is you've become your own glorified subordination of your own process, i.e. you're working so deep inside of your process, you're not going to be able to build that company as you ask for. So that's what most people come into my process for, is they want to win across the board. They want bigger capacity to do the thing, dominate, and push their mind, body, business, and relationships to the next level. And that needs space, focus, and deliberate practice. This is not a really, really high level, crazy thing to do to create boundaries. But this is how I set my standard. My standard is my physical capacity means I am an asset to those around me, full stop. If it's not in my diary, it does not happen. So what I'd like you to do, take this and run with it. If you'd like I've got a full workshop training on this, which is about 12 minutes long, about how to do this and other things inside of your diary called the Energy Audit. If you'd like a copy of that, I'll put that in the show notes underneath. So anyway, I digress. That's why it's imperative for your physical capacity to go in there first. And I'll catch you guys soon.